down, Jackie. Calm down. So today we have the one and only doctor. You heard me, Dr. Angie Kearns. Let me repeat that again, y'all. I told y'all I'm moving up in the world, okay? Dr. Angie Kearns. So we're going to talk about the pathway to self-love. Let me tell you a little bit about this phenomenal woman, okay? Dr. Kearns draws from her own experience and extensive work with clients and offers practical strategies and empowering insights to help Black women triumph over their obstacles. Are y'all, ladies, are y'all listening to me? Y'all always complaining that we don't have anyone helping us, and women don't want to support each other. Okay, lies y'all tell, because we have a wonderful lady here. Dr. Kearns is a beacon for self-love and empowerment. Now, y'all know this word empowerment is underused and oversaturated, not this woman. So she wants to guide her clients through the nuanced landscape of managing stress, building unshakable confidence. We can go on and on and on, but when I tell you, I'm in a tizzy right now because we have someone who's willing and who's offering help, who's telling you what you need to do. So without further ado, the Women Are Worthy Network, we are proud. We are so honored. We are like jumping for joy for Dr. Ange. Hi, Dr. Ange.
Hey, darling. Look, you got me jumping for joy. I'm like, oh, let's do it. That makes me excited. What a wonderful introduction. I appreciate that, Miss Harmonizer. You absolutely better believe it. Women are worthy, and you making them harmonize. We're coming in sync with one another. I love it. Yes, indeed. I'm excited.
First, and I want to thank Erica Thomas for connecting us. And I want you to know, and see, this is what I'm talking about. And I please indulge me on this. We have so many women talking about Black women don't support each other. Black women don't like each other. We're crabs in a barrel. Number one, I don't know what barrel you're in, but the barrel that I'm in, we stand on each other's shoulders. We help and support each other, right? So, Dr. Ange, I'm a relationship, expert. I want you, because what you're doing is so well needed. So many women have lost themselves that they don't even know about self-love anymore. So let's get in it. Let's talk about it. Come on, let's sip. Instead of sipping tea, I'm sipping water.
And I'm sipping water as well, right? So, well, first, to your point, we say that women are not there for one another. We don't support one another, things like that. And that barrel of women, unfortunately, they're already in an identity crisis. So let's just start there. Because once you know who you are, you love yourself so much, and the compassion that you give yourself and the empathy you give yourself, it is so easy for you to share to the next person, because then you understand that, hey, we all are flawed, and that's wonderful. No one has to be perfect. And then the spirit of ease, it just makes life so smooth. Everything flows at that point. So if it's flowing for you, you want it for the next sister. And it takes absolutely nothing away from me to pour into you. Actually, I am then magnified. When I give you, I receive so much more, because when you flourish and all of a sudden you get restored, you're going to get revelation knowledge. And then you can't help but to share it back to the person that helped pull you out of the identity crisis. And even like the imposter syndrome, that's the flip opposite. Here it is. Everyone sees you as something amazing, but you can't see yourself in either. But it's still an identity crisis. It's just that you're not suffering as much as someone who has not found himself at all.
So what led you? Come on now. What led you down this path?
Girl, pain, straight up pain. So coming from where I come from, round the way, the hood, neighborhood, ghetto, inner cities, streets of Philadelphia, we were actually, it was fun because everybody didn't have anything, right? So we all locked arms, enjoyed one another, but there was poverty there, there was gunshots in the streets, things like that. And in that, trauma happens. It's not so much like I had trauma that my family didn't even identify. To this day, they can't identify with it. And that made me silence me a lot, because I thought, oh, maybe it's nothing. Oh, maybe it's nothing. I kept pressing me out, pushing myself off. One day I realized, because I did experience abuse in the household with my stepfather, who was a good dude, but then he was an awful dude at the same time, right? And one day I realized at the age of 32, I said, wait a minute, why am I afraid to get married? Why am I so afraid to get married? And I had to think about it because I was afraid that once you got married, a man was going to hit on you. At
Mm.
2, that's what was in my mind. No. At this point, I did get hit on by my daughter's father, right? My oldest daughter's father. He hit me one time. That was all he was going to get, right? So by 32, I sat up there and I said, wait a minute, the fear that I have ain't even mine. It's somebody else's fear that's been impressed upon me, and I'm living their sentence, their life sentence. I'm living that. I'm imprisoned because of what I saw. So here was, I was exposed to this unwillingly, not any decision of my own, but yet my social life was impacted. My love life was impacted. My mental health was impacted. So that's what started me. When I started figuring some things out, I would look around. If I go to a restaurant, I look around and I would see other relationships like thriving, majority of non-Black relationships. And I saw the women loving on their men. And I'm like, wow, that's just so sweet. But that don't happen in our community. We don't do that. We don't do public displays of affection and things like that. And I wanted it because it just resonated on the inside. But the way that my mind was, I couldn't have it because we don't do that. So therefore, I thought I wasn't going to have a man that would want to show me public affection. So it's just those kind of things that made me realize, you know what, I got to do this thing my own way. So everyone knows me to be very different, a different thinker. I made different choices. And I just started exploring little safe spaces, little by little. And the next thing you know, I'm flourishing. I'm traveling different places, learning different things. I even married someone from Jamaica and brought him over here. I didn't have a whole lot of fear.
Wait a minute, you married one of my people?
Yes.
Okay.
Over here. Yes, baby. The sweetest man ever. The sweetest man. But I didn't know that he had bipolar issues and schizophrenia, and it didn't show up for the longest time, you know? And so, I mean, to this day, my daughter has the sweetest father. You know, he's a really fun guy. He wants the best, loves family hard, but I couldn't live with that. So it's through these experiences and that one on top. So at this point, I didn't know self-love because I knew self-protection. I knew how to guard myself, keep myself safe. I knew how to create success, but I didn't know what self-love was because if I knew self-love, I wouldn't make decisions that would set me up for failure, emotional failure.
It's just so refreshing because one of the things I like doing is sitting around with women, all types of women, but particularly my African American women, just sitting down and just having one of those discussions where, you know, we take off the makeup and we just talk. Because so often people live that, you know, that persona, whether you're on stage or whatever it is, that you're perfect and your relationship is perfect. And so many of us are dying inside,
Yes.
dying because we don't trust on one another. Because we may be in a circle of 4, you and I, Dr. Angie, and I tell you something, and you go back and tell Lisa. Lisa tells Teresa, and Teresa comes. And you know what I'm saying? We have to start. And I want the young girls out there, the millennials, and all those young women out there to understand. Don't fall into that misconception that Black women don't support you. Because the thing is, if you're in a spot where they're doing that, you got to move to another location. And like minds attract like minds. So sometimes you may be like that on the inside, and that's what you're attracting, right? So the fact that you're talking about self-love, I just love this on this wonderful day, honey. You make me so proud. I feel like I done gave birth to you, okay? Because we need to hear more of this. We need to talk more of this. Other cultures do this with no problem. Sometimes I've seen African women, they support each other so much and they help with each other. I've seen one where they're like just kissing and just displaying, you know, the love. So what would you say to someone out there who they're not sure what self-love is? What is your description? I think we need to start with that. Your definition of self-love.
Absolutely. So for me, self-love is caring, right? Caring about oneself, what happens to you, caring the fact that you matter, right? That starts inside. One of the techniques that I do when I start my coaching session, I tell the woman to go to the bathroom. Let's look in a mirror or any mirror, anywhere. And I have her look straight into the camera, into the mirror, into the mirror and say, they say their own name, but they'll say, Angie, I love you.
I love you.
I really,
I
really love you.
love you.
And when you look in a mirror and you do that, and I step out of the way, of course, right? So I want them to have that time with themselves. Majority of the time, you touch something that hadn't been touched before, and the woman begins to cry. That's the first time she's ever seen herself. And it's normally the little girl on the inside who was told to sit down, be quiet, and just go along with the rules, whatever the rules were in any situation. Don't create waves and things like that. So when she turns around and she looks inside, that's the first step. I have to help you identify you, because I can sit up here and tell you, oh, you know what? You need to love yourself more. Oh, you need to take care of yourself more. Oh, I can tell you all these different things. You need to make better decisions. And I can tell you these things and you understand, like, yeah, I need to do that. But you think if you already knew how to do it, you would have been doing it. So we don't know how to. So I try to share the steps of how to do that. And I actually created a self-love course, even down with body shame. And I talk about how my hands are so large, right? But honey, this hand could wear a ring too, right? But my hands are so large and I used to not like them. My feet are so large, I did not like them. My height, I'm 5'10". I want to wear 4-inch heels. So I just started doing it after a while. But I didn't like always being the one that was just so tall. But I had to realize, wait a minute, these hands help me count thousands of dollars. These feet have traveled all over the world. This body walks into a room and demands an explanation, and I can help people get set free because I'm noticeable. I walk with presence and purpose. So I had to recognize that even with me, I just lost 20 pounds. When I created this book, when I wrote this book, Thriving, Not Just Surviving, Overcoming the Pressures to Succeed as a Black Woman, in the book, I talk about self-care. And I was still maybe about a good 15 pounds away from where I am now. And I said, oh, shucks, when this book released, I got to get on top of it, because how in the world can I turn around and tell women to take care of themselves, and yet I'm looking overweight? I may not look bad because I look proportioned or whatever, but those clothes don't fit the way I want them to fit, you know? And I knew, and in certain pictures I can't take because I'm just feeling awkward. Just had not been in my body for so long. So I like to walk women through the steps of how to embrace yourself, because you could see some heavy set women got more confidence than me. Okay. And I just be amazed at that. And confidence, the sexiest thing on the planet. So therefore, if you want to conquer anything, whether it be in business, whether it be in your relationships, whether it be with your homegirls, confidence is the first step. So that's what I help women build confidence first. They have to see themselves, understand where that pain is, and understand that's what we're working towards, healing that thing that you just saw inside of you. That's who we're going to take care of. So when I say you, I'm talking about that person you identified when you went eye to eye with yourself. That's
and I love that. I love what you're saying, because for me, a lot of my friends, I tell people, you have to start dating yourself, right? You need to go to the movie, because a lot of women, I don't like going to the movies by myself. What is it about you that you don't like being around yourself? There's an issue. So I have this thing that I would go to the restaurants, and I'd sit at the restaurant. It was so funny. My girlfriend said she wanted to meet me because she wanted to see me when I would do it. And I said, don't come to the table, just watch me. So girl, let me tell you what I do. I will go to a restaurant in a minute if I'm going by myself, because I'll go places by myself. I have no problem. I will go to a restaurant, put my compact on the table, like, hey girl, how you doing? You beautiful. That's what I do. And my girlfriends are like, you are crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I love me. I love being around me. I love me. Yes. I love the Jackie. That I feel like I'm one of those 80-year-old grandmas where, you know, you have the aunties where you have the cookout and auntie will just say anything.
Yes, yes.
I am so into protecting my peace. I talk to women about self-care because in the African-American community, when you do things for yourself, you feel so guilty because the kids and no. In order, just like the airplane, as you know, when it goes down, you got to put the mask on first. And we suffer from so many mental issues. Like type A people suffer from panic attacks 9 times out of 10. And I'm a type A person. And I am so hard on myself. So I'm working with and working on, which I'm doing, like the meditations to just, I don't have a problem not doing nothing for myself because I was raised by a man, and you know men do things for themselves first. So I don't have all with no regrets, no apologies.
And they celebrate themselves. The smallest win, they will celebrate it and keep repeating that one thing over when they won.
And that's what I need. For me, that's where I lack. I'll make a win or something great, and then I'm moving on to the next obstacle. Yes. So now I'm learning to, no, slow down, Jackie. You're going to go out and celebrate this win and enjoy. And that's where I found that I was not in self-care mode, because you have to, there's so many losses out here. You got to celebrate the wins. Because if you can go to a funeral and it's almost like a celebration, so to speak, a send-off, we need to, it's like a rebirth. Girl, I'm loving you. I am, girl, I'm telling you, I'm loving you. I love when I'm in sync with another woman. And because this is how I see it. The world is so big. I can't handle everybody. So why not support a sister who's doing something similar or better or whatever than I'm doing? You know what I'm saying? We should all support. I can't get all the clients.
Right.
Support. You know, when I tell people what I'm doing and they're like, why are you going to get that person on? They have more followers, or Jackie, they're doing the same thing. What I do with those people after I have the conversations with them, I delete and block. Because you're not going to let those negativity. I'm quick to delete and block. We're not going to do that. We have to learn, in order to love other people, we have to learn how to love ourselves properly, right? Now, what would you say to someone, because I received I sent some text regarding, you know, you being on the show and talking about self-love and what we need to do. It's so hard for some people because they feel like if they show that they love themselves, it's almost like they're conceited. It's almost like they're stuck up. What is the difference?
Conceited and stuck up. Okay. So when I think about conceit, stuck up, arrogance, it's a me thing. Oh, I beat my chest. It's all about me and I'm better than. So that has absolutely nothing to do with self-love. That actually is a lot of ego and a lot of low self-esteem issues, because what you're doing is broadcasting something. You're trying to convince everybody else of something great that's not really even there, because what the truth doesn't need any explanation, right? It shows up. You know, your aura speaks for itself. You know, a woman that walks in that confidence, she doesn't have to part her lips, and she will be the one chosen because it's all about your presence. So, and it's just interesting that speaks to, I want to flip into that when you talk about the imposter syndrome. When someone is so used to just living in their skin, being okay with who they are, they don't even realize that the vibration of who they are rises up so high that they're noticed everywhere. So when everybody keeps, all of a sudden they turn around, they keep hearing, oh, you're amazing. Oh, you do this. And things start happening. And they get invitations to all these different places. And it's because of what they see on the person. But when I was so used to going through that when you're used to going through for such a long time, you don't even realize when you came out on the other side. So you end up in imposter syndrome, not even realizing that you've built something amazing because you're so used to just running your own race. You're not looking to the left or other, not worried about what anybody else have. And you're just trying to do the best that you can. That actually elevates you.
I like that. And so the other day, I don't know if it's because it's a Jamaican thing or a New York thing or a Cuban thing, I don't know, but New Yorkers, we already got the, you know, there was a song about Welcome to Atlanta, and I'm not even gonna say his name, but he says a part where, you know, in New York by the way that we walk and by the way that we talk, right? Because we have this cockiness about us, and I am not going to say we don't. We got this cockiness. So this guy I did a job, and this guy gave me a compliment on it, and I said thank you. He says, you're saying thank you like it doesn't mean anything. I said no. I said thank you because first of all, I know I did a damn good job, but I was waiting for you to compliment on the job that I did. He's like, you are definitely from New York, because I have no problems patting myself on the back. But not being, you know, because sometimes we have to give ourselves compliment as well. I believe that. I don't know about everyone else, you know, because it's almost like when you work on a job and you expect this and expect that. A closed mouth don't get fed. And I'm one of those people, I'm going to open up my mouth, right? But we also have to give acknowledgement because of the things that we do to ourselves, because you may not get acknowledgement on the job or whatever. But when you do something phenomenal, like you said, go celebrate it. You know, even if the boss doesn't celebrate it, the client doesn't, acknowledge it, go out and celebrate it. So, okay, you got this book. When you going on tour?
You know what? That's so interesting. Probably when I move back from Belize, I'll start that. Because right now I'm living in Belize full time. I'm in the States right now at this moment, but I'll be here for a week or so. But yes, what's interesting is I just released this one, Rip the Bandage Off and Heal for Real. And then the first one that I released was in April, which is Thriving, Not Just Surviving. And I also have a journal, but I also have a workbook. The workbook I actually sold out when I was in Belize, so I don't have one to show you right now. Prior to that, my daughter and I wrote another book when she was younger. She was 13 years old. She's 20 now. And this is me. This is me. This is the younger one. And then the one in the cockpit is my oldest daughter, who's now the second Black female captain at Delta. Pilot, right?
Wait a minute, stop. Y'all, I wanted to tell y'all about this because, motherhood is hard, right? And I want for those mothers that are out there that are experiencing issues with their teenagers or whatever is going on to understand, keep holding on, keep holding on. But when I found out that this woman, and again, success means different things to other people. But for me, success means you're living your dream. You're not necessarily money. Money helps, but you're living your dream. Your child is doing what they wanted to do. How fulfilled of a mother is that? And this woman, you heard what she said. She dropped the bomb. You heard what she said. Come closer, y'all. She said her daughter is the second Black female pilot with Delta.
Captain. Yes.
Not just pilot, y'all. Captain.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Bam. I don't have anything to do sound effects right now where I am. Right? It's just so, when I tell you, I'm so glad I connected with you and I got connected with you and we vibed on the phone a little bit. And now more so, I'm feeling it here. I'm feeling it right here.
Yes.
I want people to understand that we got to celebrate each other because for me, I don't have to be on the stage with you. I can be in the back row still clapping for you. My sister, congratulations on raising a successful young woman who's doing what she wants to do and being a mother at the time, going through whatever you may have gone through or whatever. But now you didn't just go through it. You overcame. Now you're living your dream. Now you're doing what you want to do.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's not like I'm sitting up here saying that at this moment that we speak, I'm waiting for that manifestation to drop on in because I have stuffed the pipeline so hard. The way that my books sell out, my speaking engagements, my lives, all those different things of all the success that comes. So that's what I really wanted to highlight, not the fact of what's in my bank account today, but I have absolutely no control over the fact of the increase is going to come in like a floodgate because I'm in alignment with everything that I believe, right? And so I was going to tell you that I want to encourage the women that, yes, I came from the hood. I had nothing. I relocated to Georgia in 1992 with a 1-year-old, a U-Haul truck, and a Ford Escort on the back. And that thing didn't even last long, right? It lasted me about a year. And it took the longest time for me to get a job, so I worked for a little bit. But then by the time my 1-year-old turned 3, I had opened up a daycare center. The thing about it is my mother always said, if you're willing to help yourself, there's going to always be someone there to help you along. So I just knew to never give up because she gave me that. And I really believed that. So therefore, as long as I didn't stop and I just kept going, if there's a problem anywhere in the world, there's a solution for every problem. And so I just keep seeking, that problem. I just make my way. A no is, when you hear a no, that's not a wall. That's a pause button. Just long enough for you to catch your breath and then figure your way to yes. And that's all that we kept doing. And we figured our way out to yes. And now she sits in the captain's seat.
See, what I want the viewers to understand, and take this to heart, because this is what I say. No means not now. When someone tells me no, I figure maybe I'm not speaking the language that they understand, whether it's sign language, whether it's French, whether it's whatever it is. I'm not speaking so they can understand what I'm saying. but you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, you turn that no into a yes. So for me, no always means not now. So when I hear it, you know, when I was younger, I felt defeated. No, especially if you're speaking to or walking into your purpose and you get roadblocks and people are telling you no, it's not now. It does not mean it's a no. Do not be discouraged. Use that because maybe it's not time for you to hit that right then and there, right? God is trying to prepare you. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So we know you have several books out. You're a phenomenal author. You're a terrific speaker. You're charismatic. You're very engaging. Your millions will be coming in the bank. It's here, right? Because money is only energy. Money is all about energy, right?
Absolutely.
So we know money's energy. So the money is there. It's just a matter of time before it gets deposited in your bank account.
Raising my vibration will bring it quicker. And that's what I'm constantly working on. I raise that vibration and continually see that. And I have a confession that I'm so happy and grateful that now that $60,000 goes into my account every single day. That's a wild number that it belongs to me.
It's not a wild number because I remember Jim Carrey I read his book and he said he wrote out a check. I think he said it was for $10 million and he walked with that check. He said his second movie was 10 million. After that, 30, 40, 50. So we have, you know, and that's what I want people to understand. Things are here for you. People are there here to assist you. You just have to let go, let God, and let the vibration, let the energy. You know what I'm saying? You got to. We're so busy pushing uphill when sometimes all we got to do is just stand there, and you know, in the manifestation and all of that prayers, it'll come. So, can you leave us with 3 tips that women, and of course I want you to talk about, you know, where they can find you, your website and your books and stuff, but can you give us at least 3 tips that you would recommend for someone who's seeking or trying to find self-love?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to comment also when you said, you know, when we're pushing and pushing, sometimes we have to just sit and wait on God. When we're doing all that pushing, it's matter, our physical being, trying to push against other matter. But when we realize that, okay, if it's that daggone difficult, then it's not for me to touch. And you get into the spirit of flow and you surrender and watch things shift on your behalf. So it's time to go and do, then it's time to be still as well, right? And another thing I wanted to mention is that humility. People say, oh, you know, but I'm trying to be humble. You know, you don't have to try to be humble. You can be humble, but humility to me is admitting what God said about you. So God said that last year in 2023, that I will be the #1 producer of product for Black women's healing, and that I am. God said that I should release 5 books in 1 year, and that I did. God said that I will have e-courses of self-love. So therefore, I can say I am the #1 producer for product for Black women when it comes to emotional healing. I am an emotional fitness coach. That's what humility is, because I know God gave it to me. So it's when we focus on the fact that our gifts came from somewhere, our deepest desires, that all came from God. And that's where humility is. But to deny that even exists or it's not a big deal, that's a problem. And that's false humility, to try to act like, no, well, you know, it's just this little thing here. No, it's a big thing, you know, and you have to learn to measure how that thing actually shows up in life. So you said 3 things to do what now?
3 things to someone who's watching and they're loving what we're talking about. And they're like, well, you know, I want like 3 takeaways for someone to take away from this conversation for self-love.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, you have to identify there is someone on the inside of you that needs to be acknowledged. You have to acknowledge there's something in you. It may be covered up with life issues. You may feel despondent about a lot of things. I know what happened to you. We're not responsible for what happened to us in the past, right? But we're responsible to heal from it. So there's a lot of self-hurt that's going on right now. And I speak to that spirit that wants to hurt himself and say to you that there is help. I can be found at AngieKearns.com, AngieKearns.com. I will send you to resources. If you're not in my town, I'm in Georgia. Everybody needs a coach. You need a life coach, somebody that's already done what it is that you want to do. So a life coach is very helpful. And then learn to believe. What I do every single morning, I wake up, I do stretches first because I want to get my body active, right? And then I sit still in quietness. I also do some meditation as well, but just stilling the mind, just being still for a moment. If that's painful for you to where the mind is just very, very active, then I want you to brain dump. Get a piece of paper, write down everything that's flying through your head right now, because that's real. We have over 65,000 thoughts per day, and they're just whirling around, and they come repeatedly, one after another. We have to make them land so that way your mind is not so busy. So I help you master your mind so that you can, even at any time a trigger happens, the old triggers won't work anymore, because I show you how to still your mind just long enough so that we can find the truth. Because we can assume, just based on anything happening in life, we can assume that we know why that person did it, the motivation behind it. But I teach you how to pause so we can find the truth. How much of that is true? I understand that's your feeling. I understand that's your perception. Your perception is based on thoughts. Everybody can look at the same thing and come up with something different. So if we can understand that, then we can understand that we can pause those emotions, we can pause the pain, and we can start healing. And it's having to pause those busy thoughts. That right there is the most important thing.
You have just, it's just a wonderful day, and wrapping up this conversation. I am proud of you, my sister, for doing what you're doing. You're going to be helping millions of people. You're the modern day of what people need right now, especially our women. This is what we need. And I thank you for just sharing your space with me, because you could be doing anything and everything else. And you chose to take the time out of your busy schedule to participate in a conversation on this platform that we want women, because like you, I want women to heal. I'm sick of our women being hurt. I'm sick of, the why, woe is me, woe is me. So I figure if I bring enough women or men on the show to help solve the issue, now there's no excuses, right? So again, I thank you, Dr. Ange, for being on our platform and just being the superpower that you are. And I wish nothing but abundant blessings for you. And, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and just tapping in. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't look, y'all. Look, got to get the numbers up again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. Tell me who you want to be on the platform. And, so you'll see everything. And we want to thank everyone.